Hello, welcome back to the transfer room. It's just have to give you guys a little bit of an apology. I've been away for a few days. Been a little bit ill under the weather, but we're back stronger. So trying to get back to business as usual. So again, my apologies and welcome back to the transfer room. Starting off things as quickly as possible. There's a lot for us to talk about. So first of all, Hilal have submitted a bid to Aston Villa. They've shown interest for Ollie Watkins. A bid of about 45 million euros has been submitted to Aston Villa. This bid has been rejected, but clubs talks have begun between Al Hilal and Aston Villa for the transfer of Ollie Watkins. Staying with Al Hilal, they have also shown interest in Arsenal's Brazilian winger in Gabriel Martinelli. Arsenal are open to negotiations for this deal. Apparently, they're looking for a fee in the range of £60 million. The midfielder has 1 year left on his contract, and Al Hilal are pursuing strongly and trying to get Gabriel Martinelli to their club as early as next week. So this is one of those deals we'll be keeping close attention to and bring back to you guys as soon as something has been brought up. Going up to Newcastle, today we've been told they have submitted a bid for their young forward in Matheus Fernández Pardo. He's a young winger, young attacker. I think he's around the age of 20 or 21. Not too sure, but I think it's 21 from what I remember. He's a player I've heard about a little bit, not so much. Heard more about him towards the end of last season. Newcastle are one of those teams, like I've said before, they've been gutted a lot in the transfer window, so they are looking to bring in some more players. So he's one of those players. Newcastle are looking to submit a bid in the range of 45 million euros and to see if they can attract this player to the Premier League. Moving on to Liverpool have made 2 bids for Minteh from Brighton. Apparently a £50 million bid was submitted, that was rejected. Liverpool upped the money to £60 million, that had been rejected. Brighton are looking for in the range of a minimum of £70 million, and we're trying to see if Liverpool will get this player. I think Minteh would be a good replacement. I don't want to say replacing Salah, but I think he's someone who suits Liverpool style, how they play, and what Areola is trying to bring to Liverpool fans and the football club. So I think that's going to be a good deal if and when they're able to pull that off. Manchester City are looking on a deal to bring in Elias from Palmeiras. Apparently he has a 100 million release clause in Brazil. He's one of those guys Manchester City are really linked to, and I think will be a perfect replacement for Savio. Savio has been in Manchester City for about 2 years now. He came in with a lot of potential, a lot of hype, but that doesn't seem to be the case as he has lost favor with the Manchester City. Yes, they've lost Pep Guardiola. Maresca has come in, and it looks like Savio is looking to leave Spurs. More on that very, very shortly. Manchester City have also shown interest in Ayub Bouadi from Crystal Palace. The young midfielder has been approached by Manchester City, and Crystal Palace have been approached as well. Crystal Palace have already made it known to Manchester City that he's one of those players that they are not looking to sell. But again, the last few weeks of the transfer market, so many impossibles become impossible. Again, another deal we will be monitoring and see how far that goes. Aston Villa seem to still be interested in Nicolas Jackson from Chelsea. Another player who's run out of favor in the Chelsea Football Club. Last season, he happened to be in Bayern Munich. I think he had an okay season, but not okay enough for them to keep him. And he's been back at Chelsea, and they're looking to figure out a deal for him. Aston Villa have lost a lot of players, including Morgan Rogers, to Chelsea, and they have shown massive interest that they want Nicolas Jackson back. As I just repeated a few seconds ago, Al Hilal are interested in Watkins as well. Tammy Abraham has a lot of injuries, so Nicolas Jackson is one of those guys they are looking to bring all the way to Aston Villa. Staying at Aston Villa, it was also reported as of yesterday that they have contacted Club Brugge in Belgium for their own young centre-back, Ecuadorian centre-back in Joel Ordóñez. Again, another young player. I have seen him play once. I think it was against Arsenal last season. I saw him play once. Nothing much to take home, but he's one of those players they are looking to beef up their own defensive department. Again, Aston Villa, just like Newcastle, have been one of those clubs who've lost a lot of players, and they're looking to recruit as much as they can before the transfer window ends. Leeds United have shown interest in Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk, a player we discussed about a few episodes, who has seen his ban lifted, his FIFA ban lifted, and he's looking to get minutes. Apparently, Chelsea are interested in making this deal happen, but it doesn't seem Leeds is the team that they want for Mudryk to go to. They want Mudryk to be at the team that is I don't want to use the word stable to make it seem like Leeds are not stable, but they want where he will get enough minutes for him to move forward, as he's been away from the game for about 2-3 years now. Leeds have shown massive interest, and I think it's going to be a good deal for him, but I think they're also concerned about the minutes he's going to get. Moving on to Hull City, one of the new teams that have made it to the Premier League. They're exploring a loan move from another Chelsea player in Dário Essugo. The defensive midfielder again has been in Chelsea, I think for 2 years now, or last season. He got an injury last season. Knowing for the fact they have one game a week, getting a lot of minutes is something that's going to be a little bit difficult. So that's a deal Hull City are looking to explore, and we'll see what comes of that. Now, let's take you guys to the deals that are basically confirmed either by the club or reports have said this deal is agreed. Now we're just waiting for them to hold the shirts. Starting first with Newcastle, they have had an agreement with Manchester City for the defensive midfielder in Nico González, the player who came from Porto 2 Januaries ago into Manchester City. He again has lost favor in the Manchester City hierarchy, hasn't had a lot of minutes. Even when you look at the game they played during the opening weekend of the Premier League, Nico González definitely made a start. Even Mykhailo had to play in the midfield, and when they brought in players in, Nico González didn't make it through and make it to the field. So again, Newcastle have agreed a £47 million plus 3 million add-ons. So basically £50 million deal for Nico González, and they're trying to get that deal done. They lost Tonali to Tottenham Hotspur, so I guess this will be that replacement. Another interesting deal that came across my desk was, depending if you guys still remember him, but Christopher Nkunku, who used to be at Leipzig, made it to Chelsea with a lot of hype. He did a lot of good jobs at RB Leipzig. Didn't make it at Chelsea, moved on to AC Milan, and apparently they have agreed a deal that's AC Milan with RB Leipzig for the return of Nkunku back to the Bundesliga. This deal is about a €30 million deal, a €3.5 million loan deal first, and after that they hold the option if they want to make that deal permanent. So Christopher Nkunku will be going back to RB Leipzig and would be in the Bundesliga next season. Moving on to João Palhinha. Again, someone I reported, Aston Villa and Newcastle were very interested in getting Palhinha to the Premier League, but apparently he has agreed a deal, and there's also a deal agreed between Benfica and Bayern Munich for about €40 million with a €5 million add-ons. He will be moving to Benfica, and for a lot of you that don't know, his former manager, where he had a lot of his good minutes in Fulham, has or is now the manager at Benfica, and that is Marco Silva. So João Palhinha to Benfica, deal is confirmed. He will be playing in Portugal for next season. Now let's go to Italy. Starting with the Italian champions in Inter Milan, they've agreed a deal with Liverpool for Curtis Jones. Again, another deal that just came out of nowhere, believed to be around 35 million package fee for Curtis Jones. Interesting to know that now that Curtis Jones has left Liverpool, I think this is the very first time in a long time where Liverpool will be going into the Premier League without a, lack of better words, Causa in the Liverpool squad. They are known to always having players from their academy, people who were born and raised in Liverpool. And apparently it seems Curtis Jones seemed to be the very last one and would be in Italy for next season. Again, staying in Italy, Juventus have agreed a deal with Tottenham Hotspur for their goalkeeper in Vicario. A lot of us, or some of us, give him the name of Vicky Leaks. He hasn't had the best time in Tottenham, especially last season. Towards the end of the season, we saw Kingsley, when De Zerbi came in, took over the goalkeeping position. I think there was also injuries involved, but apparently he's agreed a deal, or Tottenham and Juventus have agreed a deal with a loan fee of about 2 million, I think was a loan fee, but a deal of about 8 million euros. He's now a Juventus player. He even happened to play for Juventus yesterday. So Vicario, Spurs to Juventus, done deal. Staying again in Italy, Napoli have confirmed the signing of Chelsea defender in Benoit Badiashile. We brought this to you again a few weeks ago. Deal is now completed and he is now a Napoli player. Now, take it back to England, the Premier League, the movers and shakers of the transfer window, literally every window, starting with Crystal Palace. They have reached an agreement with Chelsea for another centre-back in Axel Disasi. He is already a Crystal Palace player, and a loan agreement was made for this deal. I don't think there's an option to buy, but won't be shocked if that is the case at the end of the season. Newcastle finally announced the signing of Amar Dedic, another player we brought to you guys from Benfica. The fullback is now a Newcastle player. Deal also done. Now, Manchester United also reported that Manchester United were in the market for a third midfielder, preferably a defensive midfielder. Well, I think it's done. Actually, I don't think it's done. It's done. Manchester United have found an agreement for about £65 million with a £5 million add-on for Baleba. Carlos Baleba is now a Manchester United player. Apparently, he's still injured for about 2-3 weeks. So they're hoping he should be back after the international break. Carlos Baleba is now a Manchester United player. Again, done deal. Now, we spoke about Manchester City, Savio, with the possibility of going to Tottenham. Well, that deal is done. Deal in terms of agreement has been reached between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City for a whopping £75 million with a £10 million add-on. £5 million of those add-ons are highly achievable. So if you ask me, I'm going to say £80 million. But we'll stick with the report. £75 million, £10 million add-on. Savio is on his way to Manchester City. Again, one of those players, like I said, hasn't had the best of times in Manchester City. The Zebra likes the winger. Spurs seem to be very upset with the player because they tried to get this player in last summer. Somehow the deal was brought into this summer. And now, finally, we have gotten something. So I'm sure the Tottenham Hotspur fans will be happy to get Savio through the door. That deal should be wrapped up this week. Aston Villa. Aston Villa have been quite busy in the transfer market. First of all, they have confirmed the deal of Zion Suzuki, the Japanese goalkeeper that we spoke about, who was close to joining PSG as of last week. The deal fell through. Aston Villa went in and the deal is done. Confirmed. They have also announced the deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka from West Ham. This is a season-long loan. He would be a cover and competition to Matty Cash that they have at the club. So that has been done. Third deal to be done by Aston Villa. They have gotten the German midfielder formerly at Bayern Munich in Leon Goretzka. Leon Goretzka happened to be a free agent this summer. He's been looking to get somewhere where he would take his talent to. And Aston Villa have swooped in and gotten that deal. I think that's a very good deal for Aston Villa with the experience like Leon Goretzka. He's a winner. Been in Bayern Munich for the last few years. For a free, I think that is a good deal that they have definitely found themselves completed so far. Lastly, from Aston Villa, Eric Konsa has confirmed his deal with Arsenal. Deal again agreed between Arsenal and Aston Villa for, I think it was £51 million with £4 million in add-ons or £50 million. But the deal wrapped up around about £55 million. Konsa will now be an Arsenal player. Again, Arsenal showed massive interest in him since the injury to William Saliba during the World Cup. It's not been confirmed how long he would be out for, but Eric Konsa is now an Arsenal player. So good deal. Last and final deal for the day. Manchester City have agreed a deal with Lille with Ayub Bouadi, the young 18-year-old midfielder who I think a lot of people got to know or see during the World Cup representing Morocco. A deal has now been agreed for €95 million with a €5 million add-on. Contract of 5 years with an optional 1 year or an additional 1 year has been agreed between Manchester City. He said his goodbyes to the Lille fans and the Lille players over the weekend as they played this weekend. He's on his way to Manchester City. I think medical were booked for today. That deal should be wrapped up, I'm sure, by Wednesday, and he would be a Manchester City player. So that's all we have for you guys so far. Thank you so much. Looking forward to being with you guys. Same place, same time tomorrow. Peace.